pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call this meeting to order. At night, I'm here. Anthony D'Italia.
Here.
Robert Edel.
Not present.
Okay. Walter Britton.
Here.
Mr. Cordy.
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum. I'd like to get the minutes approved, please. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, let's jump right in. Alan Lieberman. No? Who do we have here first?
So, Robert from Mickey's Daily.
Okay. Let's go to Mickey B's, right? Okay. Sir? We don't have an attorney.
No, we don't. Sean's on his way. He's on Hampton Road. To be here in a minute.
He's on what?
He's on Hampton Road, stuck in traffic. He'll be right here.
You know what? I'm sorry. We need our attorney here to swear you in, and that's going to be a few minutes yet. So why don't you have a seat, and when he comes in, we'll go up there.
Do we need him for the administrative ones?
Say it again, please.
Do we need the attorney for the administrative ones? You want to do the administrative first?
Anything administrative?
We could do administrative, yeah. Yeah, let's do administrative. Okay.
C form. Right here, right?
Yeah.
Administrator, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so we're looking for 150 Farm LLC. Okay. Okay, he's already got two on the tax levy.
Two are on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're already there.
Got two on the tax levy. Starting from 2022.
Mhm.
His last one was September of 24. All right, this is 50.
So there's 24.
Okay, I'd like to return this one and bring the counter back. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right,
Yeah, so
150 Farms.
on C Farm, yes.
it's not really a false alarm.
Return and counter to zero. All right. gonna go to Michael George now. Okay, this guy did provide a work order for this one. This is Michael George. I'd like to bring the counter back to 0 on this one. There is no fine because it was his first. And he
I'll
did in
second that.
fact have the company check it out and provided a copy of his invoice.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
We got a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
So it's Maria Martha Gomez.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
All right.
Okay, Leah Marie. Oh, right on time like usual. Yep.
Same year. Just give me a second. First one,
Oh, boy.
Okay. Let's, do I have a motion on this one?
We're just reading the text. History, no real long history, just these two.
Well, there's history beyond that was
Before that.
before the 60s. So
Okay.
what I want to do here is forgive the fine,
Yes.
all right?
93 years old.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and counter it as 0. Okay?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, Sean, whenever you're ready. You ready to rock? Mickey B's.
Good morning. It's Robert Barzola from Mickey B's Deli, 173 Sag Harbor Turnpike, Bridgehampton, New York.
Knowledge of penalties for perjury. Thank you.
Yes.
Yep.
Begin.
Yep. Did he ever take care of the involvement? Wasn't he supposed to get the fire marshal?
Oh, I just have some problems with the motor and with the fan, so the motor don't suck it up too much. And I called the alarm company, and the alarm company came, and they put some sensors. They changed the sensors, but they charged me, and I don't know what happened. But 3 months later, the sensors was not working, and looks like they didn't change the sensors, and they charged me everything. And later, the company they coming back again, and they changed the sensors one more time. But in that time, the alarm's coming up two or three times.
The fire marshal?
Okay, and John, you went down there to see.
We did, yeah, there was an inspection that was done at the site. What actually wound up happening was they changed out the motor. The motor on the exhaust fan for the hood and duct system was a little underpowered, so he was still getting residual smoke inside the building. The new fan alleviated that, and to my knowledge, there has been no additional alarms at that location.
They changed the motor?
They changed the motor out, yes.
Okay. We've given you, we've returned your stuff from before, okay? This does cost everybody money when these alarms go off, so please continue to do the best you can. I'll entertain a motion to return fine and go back to zero.
I'll make that motion.
All right.
Second.
All right, very good. That's it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
So,
We have
what
rotunda.
else do we have here, Anka?
Town Line Barbecue.
Town line?
Which one is it?
Yeah, right here.
It's in here, I just saw it.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're gonna get sworn in by the attorney there.
Please state your name and address for the record,
Joseph Realmuto, Town Line Barbecue, 3593 Sagaponic.
and you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth with knowledge of penalties for perjury. All right, please address the board.
So I was here once before for false alarms. Stated that we are a smokehouse. And we've been working with our alarm company to, mediate how to not have these alarms go off. I mean, technically, they're not false alarms because there is smoke in the building. Last time I came here, you scheduled to have the fire marshal meet me at the restaurant with my alarm company. He did move down one of the sensors, and he was going to review it and let us know how to go from here.
Okay, John.
There was a fire marshal that had gone out there. They had done as he had said. To my knowledge, there has been no additional alarms, correct?
Correct.
All right, so the other thing that you were supposed to do also is to try and figure out where the smoke is coming in from. I know that you have a smoker at the rear of the building, and you also have intakes that are up around the roof area. So you're supposed to get a look at that and possibly raise the exhaust ductwork a little bit higher so that the wind would take that instead of bringing it down against the building, that it would take it away. Has that been done?
It has, and the company that came out said we're actually oversized for it, and what we're doing is we're actually creating a negative pressure in the building,
Okay.
which is a little bit problematic.
All right, if you could have somebody send us that report, that would be great.
Sure.
Well, you see, you've done as much remediation as the company feels is necessary, or?
Yeah, we do. The fire marshal was going to let us know about the placement of the smoke detector, whether or not it needed to be in that one room, which seems to be the one area we seem to be having a problem because we do have one in the front area.
So the outside smoke or barbecues is being drawn
No,
in.
There are two smokers in the building.
In
They're
the
not
building.
outside.
Nothing outside.
Nothing outside. I mean, the outside of the back of the smoker is outside where we feed the logs, but the doors where you open up,
Yeah.
where the smoke comes in, is inside the building.
All right. So is the intake pulling that smoke into the building again?
No, what happens is if there's a window or a door or a cross breeze, it'll blow it into the building.
Okay.
The way his location is set up, he has a very large open field behind him, so he's pretty much on the corner of Town Line Road and Montauk Highway.
Pretty windy over there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, seems to me like you've done everything that can be done. Is that
Well,
December.
we're not completely there
Yeah.
yet, but I think we're close.
okay?
Look, I would like to, I'll entertain a motion. Provide me stuff from the alarm company, okay?
Did that already.
All right, and John asked for a report. Get
Okay.
that too.
Okay.
Send that in. Pending receipt of that, we'll
Okay.
make
Will
it
you
go
let
away.
me know if we could move that smoke detector out of that room and put a heat sensor in there? Is that
We'd have to
doable?
get a look at, make sure that the proper coverage is gonna be there for the alarm system, to make sure all areas of your public assembly are covered properly.
Okay,
If the fire marshal was there, I will check with him,
okay,
later on today when I see him, and, have him let me know what's going on with it.
great. So I should email all that stuff to you guys?
Yes, Anka will take
I have
that
your
from
email.
you, and she will confirm that this has been done.
Okay.
Under those conditions, I make the motion that we forgive the fines and turn it back to zero,
Pending.
pending,
Yep.
you know,
All right, I'll second that.
the proof. Okay, all right, very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Another one, Anka?
I'm not sure if everybody's signing. What I have is Stefan, right?
Yes, I'm representing Stephen Probst.
Stephen Brooks, yes. Get off first. This is for the in-person.
Which one is this?
Stefan Probst.
187 Evergreen Road, Flanders.
All right, you're gonna get sworn in by
State your name and address.
Carol Probst, 187 Evergreen Road, Flanders, New York.
Tell the truth and nothing but the truth with knowledge of penalties for perjury.
I do.
Please address the board.
Good morning. I don't know where to begin. Let's see. I know I had a first offense. We were new homeowners at the time. I wasn't used to having a fireplace, and we hadn't opened the vent, and the fire department did come. It was an official call, and that was waived because it was my first situation. My second situation is why I'm here today. And this is quite some time after the first, and we were very diligent trying to understand the needs that the fire department doesn't want to waste our time coming to our home. Anyway, that particular day when this situation happened, we were under interior construction. Prior to that, our alarm had gone off, but I caught it in time every other time. Because of the activity in the home, the alarm system was very sensitive. I called ADT and tried to cancel my contract with them to shut the alarm down until my construction was over. I was told that my insurance, my homeowner's insurance rates would probably go up an extreme amount. So I lowered my ADT coverage to the minimum that I could and was aware that I still had to be because some alarms would go off. This particular day, the alarm went off, but because of the machinery that was on, we didn't hear the alarm initially. When I did hear the alarm, I immediately called ADT and told them it was not an emergency. Please, don't notify the fire department. They said my timing was slightly off and they had already notified the fire department. So I hung up the phone and I called the fire department, but I didn't want to call the 911 number with the emergency because it wasn't an emergency. But I finally got through after a little bit of time. So now this is all taking time. I finally got through to the fire department. They said they were aware and that ADT did tell them it was not an emergency and they would forward the message on again to the fire department that I called again. A few minutes later, the fire department came, not the truck, just two gentlemen came up and walked to my home. I greeted them, explained the situation, and said I did all the due diligence that I thought I possibly could, and I apologized. I understood it was wasting their time. In return, he asked me to sign the acknowledgement that they were there, and I did so. And I asked them specifically, I said, is this going to affect my situation with with the alarm? And he stated that this would not be a concern. And I thought we were okay until I got a letter and I tried to address the letter. I went online to put in an appeal, and I never got a response from my appeal. So then I called, I don't know how, 3-4 times, left messages on voicemails here in the office, and never got a phone call back, ever. no emails. I left text messages, phone number, not text messages, my phone number to be able to text, all sorts of ways to respond to me, and I got nothing. I finally said, well, now I have to go and come down. So I came down here a few months ago, and I tried to resolve it then. Then they told me that a letter was sent to me. I never received the letter. They gave me copies of everything. Finally, I received one of the letters. It was sent to my other residence in Suffolk County instead of to the home 187 Evergreen. So that's why that was delayed by the time I got it. Then just recently, after I came here, when I came here, they told me today was the date that I would come and appeal it in front of you. So then, just in the last, I don't know, week or two, I got a letter dated April 25th telling me that my court date was February 10th. I think that would have been a little late to be able to come when you're getting a letter in April when it was already 2 months prior. So anyway, because I came here, I knew of the date today, and I'm just calling to ask if you could please give me, under the circumstances, another chance. And as I say, we are trying our best. We're almost done with the construction, and things have been fine since.
Would you mind putting the alarm system on test for the remainder of time that is left?
I asked, what can I do? Yes, if I can do that.
You call ADT and you
Okay.
say, we have construction going on, and I'd like to put this on test till the 30th of the month when they finish, and then turn it back on.
I have no problem doing that. Actually, I'm going to end with ADT, and I'm going on with a different, and once the construction is done, I'm switching over. But temporarily, I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sorry that you went through everything you did.
Well, I'm sorry we wasted their time. You know, I tried everything to not waste their time.
Right, but in any event, I'll entertain anybody want to jump in there and?
Yeah, I mean, if you could get it set to test and you know,
I'll
everybody's
handle-
happy, your insurance company as well, because on test, it means it's not going to,
Set everybody on
Right,
emergency.
and if something should occur during that period of time, it's going to be on you in a way. you
Right.
know.
I understand that. I'd be happy to do that. I'll do it today.
At the very least, you're still somewhat connected, or you can put it back on or reactivate it pretty quickly if necessary. All right.
So make a motion that we forgive the fine and start the counter at 0.
Appreciate that.
Second? Second. Okay, second, good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your understanding.
All right.
I'm not sure if February sign up. Is there anybody else from alarm building?
What's that?
Just wanted to see. I think there's somebody on Zoom. Not sure. They asked me for the Zoom information.
Okay.
Kevin, do we have anybody on Zoom?
We have 2 people, but I don't know who they are.
Okay.
Well, let's see who they
Let's
are.
see who they are, and we'll find out.
Neither one wants to join.
What was that, Kevin?
Neither one will join.
Okay. So neither one will join.
Okay, anybody else?
I don't think so from alarm.
Okay, let's, okay, so, Alan Lieberman. Okay, we had a no-show in November. He's been thing, so, I'll entertain a, motion on this?
Yeah, continue, yeah.
Well, I gotta tell you,
Right,
we've
yeah.
already.
Yeah, I know, I'm saying I would, at this point, levy the taxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, no action on Alan Lieberman.
Yeah. Appeal denied.
So, just to be clear, levy the taxes. Rotendo Restaurant, anybody here for that?
The gentleman even called us to ask us when is the hearing, and I also sent him a letter. He's coming for a while, like in our meetings.
Okay, so we'll put this off to the side.
No, so he didn't show a couple of times. Then I believe the fire
Oh, it's already
marshal.
been adjourned 2 times.
Yeah, the fire marshal was there, I believe, but he has invoices even after that. He has incidents, so I don't know.
There was a site inspection done at the location. He was supposed to have some appliances serviced because of the amount of soot that was coming off it. They weren't burning properly.
Supposedly called the alarm company too because he had dirty smoke detectors.
They were supposed to come in and do a full service on the alarm system and clean it. We received no paperwork, no communications or anything else on either one of those requests.
I mean, I could make a motion and feel okay about it, that if he provides the proof that this work was done, that we can appeal these two that he's appealing, okay, and give those fines.
Haven't you adjourned it before? Haven't you adjourned this before?
No.
In 24, it says adjourn, 11/11/24 Rotunda.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like they're not making an attempt to come forward here.
I thought, that was at another place where the smoke alarm was wired to the wrong property.
I don't know that we got that one through our office.
You're the one that told me about it.
Oh, no, that was the one in Bridgehampton, my apologies, yes.
Right. Okay, I'll entertain any motion.
I didn't make a motion, I'm just saying,
Well, at this
we
point-
adjourned it before, and
Yeah.
it doesn't look like they're making an effort to come before us
No
to,
contact
or
from
to,
them?
or to correct the problem.
Me to ask me when is the hearing. I told them by phone. I sent them a letter also with the time of the meeting and the date, so they know.
I mean, she's sent letters, calls.
We didn't receive any paperwork.
And they had incidents after the fire marshal.
Since then?
Ongoing issue.
Oh, every time, like every adjourn, one more invoice, every adjourn, one more invoice. It's like,
I'd say,
It looks like it to me that they don't want to respond.
yes, I'd say denied.
Okay, do I have a,
So,
Yeah, a motion to deny the appeal at this point for no action on their part.
okay,
Second.
What was the
Okay.
motion?
no action, that we allow this to go to the,
Tax
go
levy.
to the tax levy.
Fine.
Okay?
I'm in favor.
Here's our next one. Frank Polistra. That's Frank and Joanne Polistra, I believe. So they've had planners a no-show on May 13th and a no-show on August 12th.
Is he here today?
Did you hear from these folks?
the only way we communicate is through email. And each time there was a reason for not coming,
Right.
either rehab, either trip, either sick. either. So right now I just send them a letter again.
Send them another letter. Let's do this one more time.
Okay.
So adjourned for next time, right?
So that's August 11th, I believe, right? Okay.
Okay. Is that Anthony Caputo?
Anthony Caputo is the one that I told you about that is in a flight right now. And you can do this without him or.
So he's unavailable at this point simply because he's flying on business, he's away. All right.
He said he would have been on Zoom, but
Yep.
All right, let's go to August 11th on this one, too.
Okay. I'll put that one forward. Thank you.
I don't want to,
Mhm.
start thumping.
Kaufman.
Yeah, Mark Kaufman?
What are you folks here for?
James Orancio.
Okay, so this is licensing review for you. Is everybody here for licensing review? Okay.
Want to move over to that for now?
Yeah, I suppose we could do that.
Let me just, real quick, we have Mark Kaufman, Jonathan Dorfman, Michael Masterkoff, Discovered Treasures. Okay,
Favors should be on Zoom.
okay.
They asked me this morning for the.
I have one hand up on Zoom.
Are they on Zoom, Kevin?
Loyoda Michener?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear him.
I didn't hear him either.
Loyoda Michener, I think that's how you pronounce the name.
All right, so what we'll do is let's move over to the licensing, so get these people moving along.
Yeah.
These folks, all right?
John, we're okay with going to licensing? You
Yeah.
good with that? All right.
Go ahead.
Kalos v. WM Asset Management, Matthew Somer. Okay.
Either party? No?
What's that?
Either party present? No? There was an adjournment request made to the office, so I think they're looking to put that over today.
You want to put that over?
The parties want to put that over.
Okay, so we have to set that up for August 11th as well. And that's for,
Well, see, this one is, this is non-jurisdictional matter. We had a letter sent in November
right,
concerning that. Tony, right?
Say.
Bigelow versus Andrassi.
Right.
We had a letter sent of non-jurisdiction
Right.
sent in November.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I recommend
Are
the
they
board
here?
mark this off. This is new construction alleged. It's outside the jurisdiction of this board.
right,
Yeah, nobody's here, are they?
I don't
Either
believe so.
party here? Andriassi? No?
Is this Discovered Treasures?
Oh, okay, well,
No,
we
this is
send them a letter. There's no
number
jurisdiction.
two, Bigelow v.
Right. We have no
Andriassi.
We have
jurisdiction.
no jurisdiction on this one, so
That's right, yeah.
we should,
Yep.
take it off our books. right?
Yeah, non-jurisdiction letter. So
Non-jurisdiction.
recommend the board mark this off.
Non-jurisdiction.
Right.
Take it off our books.
Take it off.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Subtle off versus home remodeling.
When did that complaint come in?
Sure. This is all I
When did
got.
it come in?
This is all I have. I don't have what came in.
You don't have it?
No, this is all that was provided to me. Just a
When did it
pretty
come
blank
in?
agenda.
We don't know when it came in, right?
No idea.
Well, how do we make a decision?
Put it over, mark it off.
Yeah.
Nobody's present, right?
Yeah, so we'll put that one over to, Sodoloff, P. Sodoloff. Because we also have no paperwork on, so we're unaware of it.
No parties present? Nope, no one responded.
No response.
Right.
That's going to be August 11th.
Right.
There were 3 until now, right?
Say it again?
There were 3 until now.
Yes,
Well-
we're on number 4 next.
We have a James Arancio, Swing King Pools. Someone's here.
And it looks like counsel for Swim King Pools requested an adjournment on this. Are they present? No, they're here, okay. Great. So both parties present?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Mr. Arancio, please state your name and address for the record.
Jim Arancio, 7 Pinecrest Lane, Sag Harbor.
And do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth with the knowledge for penalties of perjury?
I do.
Please address the board.
Okay. All right. I've received a recommendation for Swim King Pools for a building contractor, from a building contractor in 2021. This builder, Grew Hill Incorporated, was preparing a quote to build my summer home, a pool in Sag Harbor. We met with Luke Pranzo, 9/24/22, to finalize the options within the budget of our house plan. For unrelated reasons, this build was stalled, but I decided to place a swimming pool at my other property, also in Sag Harbor, at 7 Pinecrest Lane. This is an older property, also in Sag Harbor. I was in the process of updating almost all the house's systems. I needed to increase the capacity of the septic system to accommodate my family and replace the system according to the current Department of Health standards. I employed an architect for the house renovation, an engineering firm for the septic plan, a surveyor for the required assessments, and the contractor to install the system. The system was installed on October 16th, 2023. The yard was regraded after removing old sprinkler lines, but 3 lids for the septic system had to remain visible for servicing according to code. The leaching pool was buried but is clearly delineated on the survey. On June 28th, 2023, I sent an email to Luke Pranzo to follow up on a prior call regarding this project at 7 Pinecrest. He requested a property survey. I connected him via email chain to our civil engineer, surveyor, and architect. The engineer recommended that they all wait until the pool location is finalized and placed on the survey before creating a septic plan to submit to the county. This email was forwarded to Luke of Swim King and it is attached to our complaint form. Email also notes that we were awaiting a reply from Luke. Subsequent shared emails between the parties are also included to show coordination of the pool with the septic design. Understandably, I do not have records of emails of any kind of communication between these professionals that did not include me. Complete strings of text between me and Luke Pranzo are also included. My wife also submitted her text stream with Luke. Subsequently, the engineering survey and the plan for the septic system was granted on 8 8/10/23 and installed on 8/19/23. The pool contract included expediting the permit. However, the paperwork was returned to us from the town of Southampton for a number of errors. After reviewing them and knowing we could handle the process ourselves to save time, we delivered the corrected permit documents and obtained the permit number P09 136 dated 11/17/24. Attached is the original document that was returned to us. The town of Southampton requires submission of your certificate of occupancy along with any permit documents for any kind of work, including pool installation. They alerted me to the fact that the house was so old that one was not on record. I had to file a pre-existing C of O, which delayed the pool permit until the C of O was granted on 11/6/23. I had surgery on 11/16 and recuperated through the week of Thanksgiving. The permit was granted on 11/17/23. I notified Luke of Swim King via text. I received a text from Luke on 11/27/23 apologizing for forgetting to tell me that the excavation was scheduled for the following day, 11/28. I told him I'd be out there to meet up with him early on the morning of 28/23. Luke contacted me to report that water was gushing out of my outdoor shower. I called a family member who lives nearby and has a key. He was able to turn off the water supply. Luke then sent me pictures via text of the leak as well as the roped-off planned location for the pool. He remarked in this text stream that he wanted to shift the location from what was in the plans. I trusted his assessment. I left my home in Smithtown to travel out there. When I arrived, workers were there excavating. Luke had already left. It's apparent that the staking of the actual pool location occurred the same day as the excavation. The crew was scheduled for that day, and Luke had not staked it out prior. My surveyor told me that Luke did not request a stakeout from it. Luke requested information regarding setbacks from me that same day. Septic plan was not on site as the entire house was having floors refinished. My wife sent a photo of survey and setbacks to Luke. We do not know if he contacted the engineer before he allowed the excavation. He sent photos of the stakeout to us, and it is obvious that there was no attempt to locate the leaching pool as the leaves were not disturbed in the photos. You could see in the emails and the texts that Luke had the ability to check details and receive any document he did not have prior to the excavation. He states in an email, which excluded me and the surveyor Gary Benz, that he never saw the septic plan, when in fact he asked for it again on the morning of the excavation, and my wife texted it to him. I felt confident that he understood the plan and would follow the parameters outlined in it. Pursuant to scheduling the final septic inspection, a survey follow-up was required, an as-built survey. And Gary Ben's staff came to the site on 7/10/24 and discovered the code issue. The pool was too close to the leaching pool. Attached is a subsequent email chain with discussion. Notable is mention of no staking survey requested from Luke from Gary, and postulated that had to have occurred due to either a homeowner field edit or a contractor field edit. I was not present when the staking was done and attached the text that Luke sent me verifying that he wanted to move the location. Also mentioned was our concern for the various trees that were in the way. I've attached photos showing that we had no choice but to lose a peach tree and a lilac. Septic installer Chip O'Connell relocated a small spruce. Had I known it was necessary to remove the trees to the east of the pool in order to conform to the written plans, we would have done so. I spent huge sums to bring the house and the property into the 21st century with compliance, because the house was built in 1934. And that included landscape restoration. So it is plausible that Luke got there on the 28th, had no idea that the trees were in the way, having not inspected the property prior. The excavators were already scheduled. He did not cancel the work and did not contact any of the other professionals to my knowledge. I made several attempts to contact Swim King management after no response on the email thread. Luke responded to the email on 7/18, excluding us, and did not contact us until I sent a text on August 13th, 2024. The response contains inaccuracies of the events as documented. The calls to management on 9/10 at 9:49 a.m. and on September 13th, 9:46 a.m. I have not received responses to this date. Costs of the relocation of the cesspool are developing. Currently, the septic installer wants $6,580. The engineer charged $1,000 to redo the plan for the county health department. The mason is charging $600 to reset pavers, and the sprinkler installer is pending, dependent on excavation. We will need to regrade and reseed soil. Documentation for above is attached. Total cost to do this was $9,545. So that's why
So what are you asking of the board?
What are you looking at?
compensation for this mistake.
So this is not a court, this is a license and review board. This board has the ability to suspend, revoke, or take no action against a home improvement contractor license.
Okay.
So that's the things they can do here. You can ask them for one of those things and your basis for one of those things today.
I was looking for some kind of compensation. They didn't answer up to my complaint until they got the complaint lodged against them. So,
What compensation is, license review board cannot rule on compensation. You have to go to either justice court, take it to justice court.
okay, so,
I really think also we just wanted folks in the town to know.
So you just have to step up if you're going to address the board, and same thing, name and address on the record.
Cindy Rancio, 7 Pinecrest Lane.
And do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth with knowledge of penalties
I
of
do.
perjury? Please address the board.
We're aware of that. I think we were expecting that because a person's business license could be jeopardized by this kind of error, that they would have come forward to offer something to us. Innocent party. They've not.
Okay,
I do think that as a board, you need to know that this is what's happening in the town to homeowners who do everything according to code,
okay, okay,
separate and apart from our issue.
okay. Well, are you here
I'm the
for
attorney for Swim King, yes.
swimming pool?
So first, I'm gonna ask these folks again what they're asking of this board and their basis for that. So you can either ask them to suspend, revoke, or take no action today, and the reason why you're asking for that thing.
Well, reason being, what we've already explained.
What are you asking for, though?
I mean, review. It's not an option. I mean, I think we're not,
I just gave you the three options. It's no action, suspend, or revoke is what you could ask this board to do.
suspend.
Okay.
Because I
And
do
why?
think it could be, because it could be corrected.
Are you saying suspend?
That's what she asked.
Okay.
She's saying
Let's
I
hear,
don't think this happens to every
let's hear
customer
from-
they have.
okay, thank you, but let's hear from swim pool, and we'll give you a chance to respond. Yeah.
I'm moving to dismiss for two reasons.
So counsel, if you can step up there, you folks have a seat,
Thank you.
okay.
and just give your appearance to the record, please.
Okay.
Totally different type of meeting.
Richard Johannesson, 544 Route 25A, Rocky Point, New York. Members of the board, council. I'm actually moving to dismiss for two reasons. The first reason I'm moving to dismiss is standing.
I'll give you.
This complaint is being made by someone who does not have standing to make the complaint. And one of the
Speak
things,
into the mic. It's a little short.
unfortunately, it's, when you're a giant, I guess it doesn't,
Well,
can you
if
hear me
wanna-
now?
You could sit down now if you wanted.
Can I?
It's that mic, right?
Sure.
Fine. Now it's a little more your size.
I'm feeling discriminated against.
Oh, boy.
I don't know, man.
Don't listen to,
I don't know if that one's gonna fly.
All right, so couple of bases for dismissal. The first basis of dismissal is standing. These folks are not the folks who made the complaint are not the owners of the house, which is the reason why, as Mr. Rancio testified, that the initial application for a permit was rejected. The reason it was rejected is because the information that was given by the Rancios to Swim King is that they were the owners of the house, when in fact they were not. It's actually a trust that is the owner of the house. So the petition,
Wait,
Again, you have to let him
have a
speak.
chance. You'll have a chance.
To respond.
the application that they had made was in their names, not in the name of the trust. So as the application for permit had been rejected and dismissed, likewise, this should be dismissed. But there's a second basis for the dismissal, and that's simply because, as they had stated, this is really a civil dispute. Right? This is an action where there is a disagreement between two parties about who's at fault for what had happened here, and I'll give you some detail on that as well. But this is really a civil dispute, and that's really what they came here looking for. Civil redress. They just brought it to the wrong place, which is the second basis why it should be dismissed. And one of the things I should share with you is I had taken a look at your website before I arrived here today, and I did make copies for you. And there is a very clear distinction between when this board should be acting and when an action should be brought before the Justice Court or whatever other court of other jurisdiction they may be bringing it for. And quite frankly, the website is very clear that this is not an appropriate action to put before this board at this time, and I think that testimony has borne that out. But the next thing I think we should think about is the facts of this case. And the facts of this case are, from a licensing standpoint, is when you do have jurisdiction, what is it that you're going to be looking at, right? First thing, of course, you're going to be looking at is the contractor license. And in fact, the contractor was licensed, right? Was the contractor insured? Yes, the contractor is insured. So the next issue is, were there permits issued before the work was performed? And at least as it relates to the pool, there were permits issued. And then when the permits were issued, the work was done consistent with the permits that were filed, by the way, by Mr. Rancio, and we'll speak about that. And then the inspections were done and the CO was issued. So everything that was supposed to be done in this transaction was done by Swim King. The pool was constructed, it was completed, it was inspected, and now there is a CO for the pool, right? But now I think we have to take a step back and take a look at the larger picture here. And one of the things that I did is I actually sent in for freedom of information requests from the town. I asked them to send over the files from the town because there are a couple of things that I think are really significant here that Mr. Rancio didn't talk about. And I think one of the first things that we should talk about is when this transaction started and what the purpose of the transaction was. This transaction started in September of 2022. That's when there was the first meeting between Mr. Pranzo, who actually is here, and the Arancios. And there was a proposal for the construction of a pool. The next important date here is June 20th of 2023, when there was a contract signed, which I have copies for the board. And the contract had two very, I think, significant elements that we shouldn't lose sight of when we're looking at any action that should not be taken here. The first is that in the contract, the homeowner is responsible for the location of the pool. And essentially what that means in parlance for this pool construction company, which, by the way, has been in business for over 60 years. It's a third-generation family. I've been representing this company for over 30 years. Almost never is there a dispute. They've built thousands of pools. They've actually built more pools than any other company on the East Coast. And there are almost never any disputes. This is one of the very, very few in my entire career. This is a very reputable company. So what that means in their in the parlance of the pool construction company is the homeowner has to be present when the time comes that you have to lay out the pool. Meaning the staking of the pool, the digging of the pool, the homeowner has to be present, and that's contractually required and something that the Arancios had agreed to. But there's a second important clause in the contract. And the second important clause in the contract is if there are going to be any changes to the pool from the time that you make the application until the time it's dug, any of those changes have to be in writing. And what's significant here is twofold. One, Mr. Arancio was not present when the pool was staked. And secondly, there were no changes that were requested to the construction of the pool.
Well, didn't you break your own protocols then?
Did not, and I'll be able to explain to you now how that happened, why that happened, and why one of the things that Mr. Arancio did not speak to is really significant here. And here's what's most significant. Yes, when Mr. Pranzo arrived to, I'm sorry, let me just give you a couple of more pieces of information. On July 7th of 2023, Mr. Arancio asked Mr. Pranzo to communicate with his architect. Because this is not a homeowner who's building a pool in his house. This is a commercial venture. This is somebody who is bringing this house into the rental marketplace. So one of the things that he made very clear to Swim King from the very beginning is they wanted to have all the work that they had to do on this house completed so they can get the house into the rental marketplace for the upcoming summer. So there were some very, very tight timelines that they were working with, and I have from my FOIA request, they had in fact made application for rental permit many, many months after we were first engaged. So the survey was sent to, the survey location was sent by Mr. Pranzo to the architect. The architect did in fact locate the pool, and the pool location was filed as part of the permits that Mr. Arancio himself had to now apply for. So he was taking control of this entire transaction. This was not a transaction where we had a passive homeowner and a large company. Really what we have is somebody who's developing a commercial venture taking control of all of the trades. He's serving as a general contractor here, and he's now communicating with all the trades. So the Swim King files for the permits on September 18th of 2023. The permits get rejected. And they get rejected because the owners of the property were not in fact the Arancios, it was their trust. So they now take control of the applications. They file the applications. I have a copy of the application for you. Contained within the application is the survey. The survey that was marked up by Mr. Pranzo. So the location of the pool that Mr. Pranzo had sent was the location of the pool for the applications that the Arancios had filed. So then the next thing that happens is that in November the pool permit is now issued. Mr. Arancio contacts Swim King and says, "Hey, we want you to put in the pool." Now that happens on November 17th, and on November 20th, and this is the piece now that Mr. Arancio did not share with you, is one of the town inspectors arrives and discovers that they're doing construction work on the house without permits. Garage doors off. They're framing out the garage. They're doing additional work at the house, and what happens is one of your representatives issues a stop work order and posts it on the Arancio house. They also issue a citation where the Arancios have to appear now for conducting construction at the house without permits. Now, on that same date, Mr. Arancio calls over to Swim King and says, "Hey, let's get started with the pool. When are you guys going to be able to get started with the pool?" Mr. Pranzo then calls back, gives them the date when they're going to get started on the pool. And on October 27th, Mr. Pranzo, as Mr. Arancio just testified, now says, let's move forward with the pool, which is now 7 days after the stop work order had been issued. Mr. Arancio does not tell the folks at Swim King that the stop work order had been issued. He didn't tell Swim King that he had been issued a citation. He didn't tell Swim King that he was moving forward with constructing the house without permits. That was information that was never conveyed. And because he's the one that applied for the permits, the stop work order was never sent to Southampton. So now, on the 27th, full 7 days after the stop work order has been posted, and he's now been served with the citation for violating the town code, he confirms the dig. You can come and now do the dig. 7 days later, on the 28th, Swim King arrives.
Who was responsible for the markouts?
I'm sorry,
Who was responsible for the markouts?
who did the markouts?
Yes,
Yes, Mr. Pranzo.
Mr. Pranzo did markouts.
He did.
Okay. Is there no culpability for mismarking?
There's not. Let me explain to you. Let me explain that piece of it to you, because remember, I did share with you that under the terms of the contract, the homeowner is supposed to be present. Homeowner wasn't present, even though he had represented the day before that he would be present.
But if the contract states in fact that you can't move forward, and you go ahead and move forward,
Without the homeowner
No,
being present.
So let me give you that piece. So now what happens is, so when Mr. Pranzo arrives on the 28th with the crew that had been confirmed the day before, he does see three things. Number one, what he sees is now there is a pipe that's burst and there's water coming out, right? Second, he notices the stop work order. And third, he notices Arancio is not present. So he calls Mr. Arancio and says, hey, you have this pipe that's broken. You need to do something about that. I tried to do something to help you with that, and I'm not able to do anything. He says, don't worry, we have somebody that will be able to take care of it. Second thing he says to him is, hey, there's a stop work order on the house. I don't think we can go forward with this project. He says, no, you can go forward with the project. You have the permit. It only relates to the work that we were doing in the house that we weren't supposed to be doing. You can go forward with the project. So then the third thing is, now the third communication, well, you're supposed to be here. He said, just send me pictures of the markout and I'll approve the pictures. You can go forward with the dig. So that's what he did. He marked out where the pool would be, which, by the way, is consistent with everything that they had the location of the pool before, and never had the information about the changes that they had made to the system. Now remember, the conflict here, they're saying that the damage that was done to them was that the pool was placed too close to the IA system. Well, the IA system was put in after the permits were approved. And the changes to the IA system were never conveyed to Swim King by the guy who was serving as the general contractor until the day of the dig. And Swim King didn't even get it because they had spotty service. So they didn't even realize that they had the markouts for the IA system until after they had already done the dig and after he had already proved the dig after he had gotten the pictures. Now the question is, right, well, why didn't Mr. Arancio appear that day? Well, now we have additional information from the FOIA request that I had received from the town. He didn't appear that day because he was having them do work in violation of the stop work order, which he subsequently got a ticket for or was arrested for, and subsequently given the ticket for that. So
I'm sorry.
Wait,
Yeah,
you'll have a chance.
to respond.
No one
Okay.
was arrested for anything.
Let me ask you one question. Did you get a CO for the pool?
yes,
Were there any complaints about the pool?
No.
No complaints? Okay. So as far as the attorney explained, our jurisdiction is suspend, revoke, or deny. Okay? That's what we have to work on. You said you like us to suspend, but we need application of, we need some kind of paperwork saying that the cause for the suspension.
So we need you to,
What does paperwork entail that I don't
so
have
we
to
need you to
worry about?
articulate a
We
reason.
can go over all this legal stuff, but that's not the case here.
Hang on. So
Okay,
we need this
so-
party to finish their statement with the board. What you're asking of the board, you already said you're looking for them to dismiss the complaint.
yes.
And your reasoning, is there anything else for the board?
No, I mean, again, the last piece of it, of course, is that the COs are issued, right? I mean, if there was a problem with the pool, the CO would have never been issued, right? This is really a dispute about whether or not This pool was in the proper location based on the
But that's
ice.
that was my question. The town gave you a CO.
Right.
If the town gave you a CO, then it had to be either in the proper location or within the standards of the code,
Correct.
okay? And is that correct?
That is correct. I'll give you a copy of the CO.
Okay, as long as that's correct. So now, the issue, if you'd like to come up and say anything else,
We'll take any written submissions from him first.
he's gonna submit.
Well, I'll file that after that. I'll send you a brief.
Okay, so to be clear, okay, we're the trustees of this property. It was left from my husband's family. The house is ours. There's no ownership issue. We filed the permit because this is what was returned by the town building department when Swim King filed the permit. It was riddled with errors. This is the original.
But that's not the case. The case is,
So, we
we already
filed
have a CO for the pool.
Right. And
We
the
have a
reason
CO.
why we have the CO is because we moved the leaching pool and incurred the additional expense. Hold on. Because I did the paperwork for all of our permits. The issue with the code violation was we had roofing, siding, didn't require a permit, windows.
Yeah, but
replaced in the
that has
house.
no basis on,
I know, but what he is saying is the reason why Luke had a problem was because he saw that there was a code violation and we did something wrong. What happened was the builder, who was doing multiple projects for us, really wanted to put the windows in when they came in. So we had like 25 windows replaced. Took the garage door off. We were unaware that he was putting those windows in. So that was the code violation. We subsequently filed the permit for the garage conversion, already received our C of O. Everything was fine. Had no problem with that contractor. It was just the timing of putting those windows in that was
I understand
incorrect.
It was a 3-day
we
lag.
understand all of that.
It was a 3-day lag from when that stop work order was issued. I appeared and Sean represented me that day. and-
Well, I'm just gonna correct you. I don't represent you. I represent the town. I prosecuted
So
you.
he
I'm
appeared
sorry.
and it was
You
excused.
dismissed the case.
Right.
Well,
It was a 3-day lag in that stop work
my
order.
point is, I understand all of that.
Mhm.
That has no bearing on us working on suspending or revoking their license. If we got a CO on the pool, you have no complaints on the pool, do you? And if
Pool
you do, they're
itself?
not in writing.
No, the pool itself is fine. It was just the
Okay.
location. We didn't dig the hole.
So it's a matter
They
of,
did.
as your husband said, you're looking for some reimbursement on the expenses. And as I said earlier, that all goes down to justice court. We cannot
Yeah.
rule on that.
And I understand that, and that's fine. But the reason that we're asking for some kind of action is our neighbors might think it's okay to contract with people that don't coordinate with the professionals that are on the job.
Well,
Then
then
you
I
should
suggest you
file-
go to the internet because we can't do it here.
Well, that might be also, but, wanting to do things professionally. We submitted the paperwork, and I got a letter from you guys saying that, yeah, this is within your jurisdiction, so come on down. So we're here today. So it either is or it
Well,
isn't.
You filed
So
a
you
complaint.
made a request.
You filed a home improvement complaint to the License Review Board. So then we have to look at that and review it, which that's why
Right, well,
we're here.
originally, we filed it with Consumer Affairs, and they told us that they couldn't do it. It had to be you
It had
guys.
to be the town, yes.
Right, so that's
And
why
as
we
Sean
came this way.
explained to you, as the attorney explained to you, we have 3 options. And
So the other parties indicated they'd like to make a written submission. Would you like to do the same, and this board can reserve decision, and next time when you all come back, there'll be a determination on the record?
You're going to deny my motion to dismiss.
Well, we can't predicate. They haven't reviewed what you've submitted, so.
So let me provide you with not just the citation, but also the information and the notes from, is it Mr. Cheech? C-H? Cheech. Mr. Cheech, the observations that he had made during both of his.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Copy of the stop work order posted.
can review all the written submissions, and it gives these folks a chance to do the same.
I'd like to make a motion that we move it over to the next meeting so we have time to review this.
Yes.
Because we can't make a decision today.
A
Do you
second,
have our entire packet
So
as
submit
well?
whatever you'd like to the board to make sure they have a complete copy.
Because it's here somewhere.
I'm not aware of what's submitted or not. Provide another copy if you've
Mhm.
provided a copy to the board. I'm going to recommend they close with a 14-day written comment period and make a determination at the next meeting.
Right.
okay,
have a vote
could
for
you
that?
see Anka about that?
I make a motion, we oppose it 14 days for comments and paperwork. And after that, next meeting, we'll make a decision.
A second.
Second, and vote.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Ed, you didn't mind me stepping in there, did you?
Say it again, please.
You didn't mind me stepping in there, did you?
I want you to do it every time.
Okay. Well, okay, we'll talk about it later. Okay. Oh, sorry, it's home.
Gonna keep going.
Keep going.
Heavy?
All right.
Who?
Heavy versus Coverall Construction.
So the secretary indicated they contacted her and indicated they wish to withdraw this.
We have a question. We have a meeting with the DA about the same case at 12 o'clock. Is there any way we can go next? Because they told us not to be late.
Okay, what's your name?
William Blau?
Oh,
Blau?
Yeah, from Cinco, with Cinco Construction.
versus.
Frederick Singer.
Yeah, you go now. Yeah, come on up.
So the last matter, I believe they wanted to withdraw. Does anyone have an opinion on that?
They want to withdraw that complaint. This is William Blau.
Okay, so just so you're out of order
Are
then.
both
Yeah.
parties here?
We'll come back to that in a minute.
Okay.
Is the contractor here?
No, the contractor's not here. There's another group here that also has a case against them too, Michael and Amelia.
So
Okay, well,
this is on matters 6, 7, and 8, or 6 and 7 only?
Excuse me?
So on the agenda today, both matters are against Cinco Construction.
Yes,
So number 6 and 7 today.
I guess so. I don't have the paper, so.
We're separate, but it's the same, we're against the same.
Okay, and no one here is here from Cinco Construction, correct?
I don't believe they're gonna come.
Okay.
Are the complaints of similar nature? I mean, do we know?
there are two complaints.
And
You wanna
I
swear?
believe that we had
You
these
wanna
folks
swear
show up in
them
November.
Wanna-
Yeah,
We did.
if you state your name and
Cinco.
address for the
Cinco
record,
didn't
please.
show up.
William Blau, 4 Baycrest Avenue in East Quogue.
And do you agree to tell the truth with knowledge of penalties for perjury and only the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please address the board.
Okay, we hired Cinco Construction, I think it was July 17th, and we gave them a check for $15,000 to do full architectural drawings and floor plans, and we never received anything. The last time we heard from them was November 1st. This is a brief summary. The last time we heard from them was November 1st. They said that they out of the 15,000, they gave 10,000 to an architect, and they were still waiting for it. Ever since then, we've never heard from them again. They ghosted us. And that day when I did speak to him, he said he would return the $5,000 that he had and the difference of whatever the architect, because they never finished the plans, whatever they did, we would get the difference back too. And then from that day on, we never heard from them. And a little nervous, sorry. We never got any money back, never heard from them again. And then in the meanwhile, we were, from the internet, we found Mike and Amelia, and that's how we actually found them. They were doing work at their house, and they were doing a great job at first. And we spoke to them, we went to some places that they did, and everyone had good reviews about them. And then once we gave them the $15,000, I'm not 100% sure, but they eventually stopped working on their house. And we found Mike and Amelia that got ripped off by them, Kaylee, Maria and Joe,
Okay.
Walter and Rosemary. We got a whole bunch of them.
Well, you said you gotta go to the DA.
Yes.
Is that about this case?
Yes, it is.
The licensing board secretary indicated that counsel for somebody here requested an adjournment. Have you retained counsel? Is anyone represented here?
No. You?
Now, can I
No.
say something on this matter? We were
No,
last-
not until
I
you
need
get
to
sworn
just-
in. Okay, so you're going to the DA about this case?
Mm-hmm. It's a criminal case.
Right, okay.
But we need their license revoked.
Or,
And I don't even know if their website is down. They got a new website, the exact same website with a
Are
new
they
name. I
licensed
think
with
it's
us?
called SAR Construction. And I think it's under the brother's name. I think it's SAR Construction. I think it's under the brother name. So they just started a new company. So
okay. Well, first of all, I don't know if they're licensed for this. They are? They have a license?
Usually are, otherwise Malin denotes them non-jurisdiction. So they're usually licensed once they've made it to the agenda here.
I know, but without the, well, my old secretary, I don't know.
I mean, they're also not here. So if the
Yeah.
board's.
we had another.
We had them, they were supposed to be here in November also.
Right, we showed up, they showed up, and we had other people show up too as supporters, but they didn't show up.
So this is three
Okay.
times, this is the third meeting, and they have not shown up yet. Okay.
This is the third meeting?
Yes.
For me, it's the second, for you guys, it's the third.
And sir, in the back, you're here on the same thing? No? Okay.
If it's the third request for them to be here,
So the boards can certainly take action if you hear
it's the third request.
a request and a basis for that. So in section
one
143, you
The third
you may have a
request-
basis. They have
Yeah,
to
they
give you
didn't
the
show,
basis,
they didn't show.
right?
We have a basis.
Mhm.
It's the
So
third
in section
request.
143 of our
As far
town
as I'm
code, there are
concerned,
bases for action for this board to take action.
Until,
Um,
or
have you
wait, I'm
had the
sorry.
chance to review that
Maybe we
section
should
of the law?
suspend it, only because
And so,
that gives them a
There's
time.
a variety of things that you can allege, violation of general business law, lack of communication, violation of town code, so on and so forth. Do
When's our
you want
next
to take the
meeting?
opportunity to step out and view the section of law, or do you want to just make some statements about what they've done to you and what you're asking of the board?
So exactly what you might have something. I just won't be able to read it quick enough probably. But like I said, we're looking to have their license revoked. We've never heard from them. We called them multiple times and our $15,000 is gone. Among, probably if you add up at all the people's money, it's over $500,000 or $400,000.
Okay.
If we
gonna
revoke these,
make-
if we revoke Cinco's
Excuse me.
thing, are you done, are you,
Ed? No. I'm gonna make a motion, we suspend their license till our next meeting.
you want to
Their
suspend?
license till the next meeting. Right? We have to
Okay,
give them,
I'm all right.
we're gonna suspend the license for the next meeting. At that point, if they don't show, we could revoke it.
So that's a motion on the
That's the
floor. Is there a
motion I would
second
like
for
to
that?
make.
I can second that.
Yeah, okay.
And a vote?
Does that affect our, because we're asking for revocation of their license, does that affect?
Well, we're suspending it till next meeting.
I'm going to recommend the
Ed-
board do this so the other party has the opportunity to be heard. Revocation,
I know they're in a rush, but if you heard us before then, it would, this whole thing would fall into place a little easier.
Do we have a complaint from you
Yes,
on file?
yes.
Okay, whatever, you wanna get up and
Yeah,
fine.
by all means, I think we should hear.
As
what
far
you
as
have to
right now, we made a motion, we second it, all in favor?
say. Aye.
Aye. That we're gonna suspend their license till next meeting,
It's like a pending or a middle step for now.
August 11th.
August
So they
11th.
can't work in the town till then,
And
till
that
they come
license-
before us.
Is that license still valid, or,
Not now, it would be.
yeah,
June of 26.
okay, that's what I want to make sure that it's still valid, that it can be suspended. All right, so that's what we'll do for now,
Mhm.
and we're gonna listen to
As far as your case.
Mike.
Yeah, we got to run. Sorry about that. It was supposed to be 2 o'clock and they switched it to
That's why
12.
we let you
and
go.
just to be clear, is that your
Do I need
request
to
of
sign
the board?
anything or anything?
No, just you need to let us know that that's what you'd like the board to do today.
Yes, sure.
Great.
Thank you.
They have their case.
Thank
Their
you.
case is worse. We only lost 15,000. Thank you, sir.
Take
Thank
care.
everybody.
Good luck.
Sorry, Ed.
Yeah.
Ed,
Ed, you're right about that.
Ed,
And sir, which matter are you here on?
That's a good.
Ed.
Are you here
I'm
on-
sorry I cut into you.
Which matter are you here on today?
We can't,
Okay.
Revoking
What's respect for you?
the license wouldn't do it.
Been here already. You've already run this.
We're not gonna yell at you. All right.
Okay,
Yes.
next, please. Are you here for a complaint?
He's here on number 8.
Number 8? Okay. Yep.
And sir, please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, Michael Baus, 3 Birchwood Lane, East Quogue.
And do you swear to tell the truth with knowledge of penalties for perjury?
I do.
Please address the board.
So I made a packet for board members, actually.
Great.
Just so you all know.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So just a quick premise. My wife and I bought a house in East Quogue in 2014. It was just her and I. It's a small 2-bedroom, 2-bath ranch. Since then, we've had 2 children. The house got small. We needed to do a renovation. My wife's brother, his fiance at the time, his family, who is from Mount Sinai, is Cinco Construction. We had got numerous quotes from local builders here and there. Everything was kind of out of our price range. We went with them, we met, and we agreed upon a number that we were both comfortable with. The first packet that I show you is the original contract. It was the home renovation signed by my wife and Jeff Singer, who was apparently the representative of Cinco Construction. Real quick, it's a basic contract, the scope of work, the preparation, demolition, excavation, foundation, framing. All materials were to be procured and installed, including windows and doors, all electrical work, all plumbing, insulation, roofing, siding, bathrooms, etc. Again, it was a 600 square foot addition. We had to change the roof, so it was kind of a complete gut job. So, upon signing, or I guess I should start with what we are actually seeking. We are asking for Cinco's license to be revoked. And Cinco abandoned our construction project. So it's a breach of contract. We have a mechanic's lien on our property from the excavator, who was never paid, one of the subcontractors that they hired. They never delivered the goods or the services that was in the initial contract. They left my wife, myself, and our 2 children without a home. It was a complete move out, complete renovation. Thank God we had my in-laws' house to stay at, which we are still at to this day. It's been a year and a half, I believe. The total of the contract, which is on there signed, was $278,500. We added some additional work orders written down, including the siding. There was a little additional foundation work that had to be completed, bringing the total to $311,000, I believe it is. At signing, this was on February 9th, 2024, we gave them $100,000 paid. And that is in the third copy, the third booklets that I gave, I'm sorry. It's in the second booklet, the payment schedules, showing the $100,000 check that we wrote to Cinco, which was cashed on 2/9/24, check number 9002, in the amount of $100,000. That was the initial payment to order materials, get the project started. As you can see after that, an additional $8,500 was charged for an upgrade on a pantry addition. There was also an upgrade for the cedar siding. This is invoice number 326, which I provided. There was a concrete block extension, and that was a grand total of $41,000. which was paid $21,000 in check and $20,000 in cash. That was check 101, which I've provided on the back. Everything was going along smooth at the time. The hole was dug for the foundation was poured, the framing had begun. During this time, the people that you just heard from, our neighbors, their nephew was our neighbor, picked them up. They said, oh, we're trying to do a similar job in the town around the block from us. How are they? We said, oh, they're good. They're kind of our in-laws. Their work has been clean. Everything's good so far. They picked them up. That's when they gave them the $15,000 and never heard from them again. So we didn't know about that at the time. So everything's going on. The framing had started at this point, according to their invoices and scopes of work, all materials had been ordered. Windows, siding, lumber. So then on 4/16, they say the upcoming scope: electrical, plumbing, foundations, the new ridge for the roof, and the rafter system would all be completed. 4/16 on the same invoice: all materials that have been purchased or delivered. It includes the windows and doors. Middle of May arrival is what they told us. The cedar siding material was to be delivered once the framing is complete. The next material would be the HVAC equipment, the roofing material, and the interior finishes. On the bottom of this, they have stated all subcontractors have been issued deposits for preparation of order of operations, and that includes the excavator, who was never paid and has a $15,000 lien against our property and us, the electrician, who walked off the job for non-payment, plumber, who they have not provided us with, whoever, if they use the plumber, and the HVAC. HVAC, again, we never got any confirmation on who they used, the material they were going to use, the system they were going to use, nothing. At this point,
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
This is the first time you're before the board?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
So
Third
only,
attempt,
only
first time.
not to cut you off, you gave me enough. You gave us enough information at this point. I'm still going to stand on the issue of making sure the other party is available before we take any action. So being it's your first time here, we have not notified them about your complaint.
No.
Yeah.
This is actually our third.
This is their third time here. It's been put off.
The first time.
Your third also?
The first time this room, I believe, was double booked.
Yeah.
We've been on the agenda. The
Oh.
room was double booked. The second time, I believe, somebody had
Then it went to
COVID.
February 21st.
Right, so it got adjourned.
I recommend you do the same thing.
Then we didn't have enough guys.
With
Somebody
another
had COVID, I believe it was.
Somebody
or
was
something.
sick.
So we didn't have a forum, and now.
Or frankly,
This is the first time you're
both
presenting.
of them either way, whether they appear here
But
or
you've had
not.
the information, yeah.
I understand. Yeah.
To be consistent. either
But
way.
back to, okay, I'm sorry to cut you off. I don't mean to cut you short.
Yeah.
You gave us so much information.
I know.
I think we're going to stand with the suspension until next month.
Next meeting.
The suspension until the next meeting.
Mhm.
And at that point.
A decision will be rendered on the 11th.
We'll make a ruling at that point. So they're not going to be able,
Sorry, their lawyer.
wait, you have to be sworn
So
in.
I believe last time, this is a question for the attorney. Last time we were here, you said that they not suspended, there's another word, put it on pause because they said this was a civil matter and there was an ongoing case.
That's what the notes of the
That's the other
secretary
case.
indicate.
Your case, I mean, even if it's so, was suspended.
Nonetheless, a non-appearance is a non-appearance. So we'll notify them this is a final appearance. The board's voted to suspend them on a separate matter, and the board can do what it's inclined to on this matter today.
We're going to suspend their license till the next meeting. That means they can't work in town, right? And we're going to notify them that their license is suspended. We'll
Okay.
notify the building department. And at next meeting, if they don't show or whatever, if they show, we'll hear their side, and then we'll make a decision.
Okay. Can I ask a quick question? Being that we are against Cinco Construction, does that go personally against the owners of Cinco, or like?
So we can't give you legal advice. If you have an attorney you're working with, they certainly can.
No, oh, okay. But I'm saying, if Cinco gets their license suspended, the owners of Cinco's, is that,
It
like,
depends
can they come
who
back
the
with a new?
license is issued to. So we look for if a license is suspended or revoked, that principal, the person applying for that license, is suspended or revoked.
That was my question.
Right.
Okay. So he can't come and open up under a new name or something?
No.
Which they've already done, but.
Are they, they're under criminal investigation?
So, yeah, so we actually have a criminal.
Why is something you put together with them, with the DA?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have a copy of, I think that's what you just gave him. We have a copy of our case, the file number and all that stuff too,
Okay, so-
as a criminal case.
So at this point, between criminal investigation and us suspending the license, the only bad thing is they can't come back to work on your house.
We don't want them to, that's fine.
Okay, so right now, we already suspended their license.
Right,
And wait
and
until
then to make a
next
decision
month,
on the next one.
the next meeting, and then we'll make a decision.
All right, is there a
By
motion
that
on the
time,
floor on
who
this?
knows where they'll be.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna craft a
Are
motion.
you motioning on this matter as well?
Yeah, I'd make the same motion I made earlier, to suspend their license until the next meeting.
Okay.
September 11th,
Is there a second?
Second.
all in favor?
And that will give them an opportunity to respond, a no show.
Right.
And if they don't
One of the
respond, then,
Opportunities, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
all right, thank you.
Thank you,
Take
Mike.
care.
Thank you, Amelia.
Just to confirm, unanimous vote on that?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
I think that's it. Yeah.
What's that?
He was looking for your vote.
Next up, we have
Yes,
Eric
it was unanimous,
Reichenberg
so
v.
I think you're a yay on
Keg C. Inc. Both parties present? All right, we'll just need a moment.
that. You can see where that's going. Yeah. It's hard. It would crush me, I'll tell you that. That's horrible.
Happens every day, that's what's sad. People take the money and. Okay, so it's still holding there.
You know what? So this is all this. All right.
Everybody's running. Long meeting.
We still have to go back to those alarms.
You're back. Okay.
Well, almost.
Huh? Almost.
Just need Walter.
Yeah.
Okay. And Kevin indicated there's somebody on Zoom for one of these matters. We can address next after this.
We have somebody on Zoom that someone's gonna come on. Which one?
I'm not sure, but they'll introduce themselves and tell the board why they're here.
Okay.
Who do we have now? Who's next?
Oh, we're gonna be, doing this one here. Eric Reichenberg.
Eric Reckenbaum? Oh, right. I'm on the wrong page. Eric Reckenbaum. That you-
Try. All right, please state your name and address on the record.
My name is Eric Reichenberg. My address is 18 East Woods Path in Sagaponic.
And you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth with knowledge of penalties for perjury.
Yes.
Please address the board.
Okay. So in summary, I'm filing this complaint with respect to a major home renovation contract that we, my wife and I, had with KEGC Inc., which is owned by Kevin Elliston. Mr. Ellison materially breached our agreement in multiple respects, including primarily abandoning the project less than halfway through the project, leaving work unfinished and the premises in disarray. Material defects in workmanship, and property damage. So to give you some more details, as I said, the project was a major renovation of the house, including the kitchen, all bathrooms, 4 bathrooms, and finishing of the basement, which was to add about plus or minus about 1,000 square feet of living space. The project was divided into 2 phases, first of which was to commence in January of '23 and to be finished no later than May 15th of 2023. The first phase included enlarging and completely renovating the kitchen, enlarging and completely renovating the second floor hall bathroom, enlarging and renovating the second floor ensuite bathroom, completely renovating the master bedroom bathroom, and renovating the first floor bathroom. Also included replacing sliding glass doors in the kitchen, the living room, and also the window in the kitchen. The second phase, which never commenced, was to, as I said, finish the basement into a media room, a gym, a recreation room with a wet bar and a bathroom, along with an exit to the backyard. The building, the plan was based upon an architectural plan, which was integrated into the contractor agreement. Most items were agreed as fixed costs for materials and labor, but there was room for changes and therefore increased costs. Any material updates to the initial plan, or most of the updates to the initial plan, were disclosed to Kevin before the contract was executed. And the agreement states that any updates should be specified in change orders. The project did commence on time on the 19th of January, 2023. The project was supposed to be completed by 5:15, time of the essence, but it never was. All invoices were paid immediately, most within 1 day of receiving the invoice. There was a warranty in the contract. Labor was guaranteed to be free of defects from 12 months from the project completion. The project started on time and seemed on track until early April. Kevin started becoming increasingly non-responsive and irritable, often would respond to emails partially, so we'd have to resend them with additional items, so there was a lot of repeat items being requested. Also, I was able to determine that workers, we didn't live there, our primary home at the time was in Westchester County. Our plan was to move into the house full-time beginning of the end of August of 2023.
What year was this?
2023.
2023.
Right. Started in 2023, and the abandonment took place on July 29th or 28th.
Of 23?
2023.
July 29th.
28th.
Of 23?
Yeah, I'm sorry, July 29th.
23?
Yes, 23.
So it's 2 years ago.
Yes, this all took place in 2023. We asked for a project plan to be updated occasionally, repeatedly. We never received one, except at one point after the completion date was over, we received a schedule of what was to be expected. None of those milestones were met. Kevin walked out on July 29th, apparently offended by a remark that the project was 2.5 months behind schedule. Phase one work was incomplete. There were material defects in workmanship that require repair, remediation, and considerable expense. There was property damage, and there was no, we were not able to contact Kevin after that. We had a small amount of communication since then through, after that point, with the architect, who also had a relationship with him. But that was the only way we were able to get any communication.
Excuse me 1 second. What property damage did you have, sir?
Well, there were multiple speakers on the first floor that were, in-wall speakers. The plan was to actually replace them with in-ceiling speakers, which were bought and provided.
Right.
Although most of the wall speakers were removed and damaged irreparably, they were not replaced, and the new speakers were not installed, even though they were available and there was no reason for them not to be installed. They just refused to do so. In addition to that, there was damage to the window treatments. Window treatments were taken down, obviously, to do the renovation, but they were just sort of thrown around in disarray. They were all destroyed, and only one of them we were able to use again. We had to replace all of them. In addition to that, there was real issue is that there were a lot of workmanship defects, and we had no recourse to go back to Kevin to get them remediated, repaired. So we ended up having another contractor take care of all of that work. The night before the embedment took place, there was a punch list containing more than 50 items. That wasn't even a complete list. That was just a list that we were focused on. And then there were many other material defects discovered subsequently. And anyway, so I have documentation, including the contractor agreement with notes, cover letter to the contractor complaint, which I read the first paragraph of that to you. I've got the contractor complaint form, got the list of all the changes that were asked for during the project, a list of incomplete items, the punch list I just referred to, a list of workmanship defects, which is considerable, and then a list of property damage, along with a summary of all invoices and payments.
Are you looking to suspend or revoke his license?
Suspend.
Okay.
Do you currently have a civil action
No.
as well?
No, I'm not. I wasn't coming here asking for compensation. Just simply wanted to make the case that I felt that there was material unprofessional conduct by the contractor, and I thought it should be brought to the attention of the
Okay.
board.
Do you have any additional written submissions?
I have lots of other documents to provide. I'm not sure what you require. I mean, I could go into.
Well, you can submit
I've
whatever
got-
you'd like.
I mean, I've got hundreds of emails. I didn't bring them along. I didn't know whether you wanted a pile of paper this big.
Okay.
I can give you copies of all the invoices and the payments. I don't know if you need that level of detail or the summary is sufficient.
Contract is here. Let's hear from him.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. But I'll leave this documents with you, and then you can let me know if
Right,
you need anything else.
And sir, you're going to state your name and address on the record.
Good morning. Kevin Elliston, 99 West Neck Road, Southampton, New York, 11968.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, with knowledge of penalties for perjury?
I do.
Please address the board.
Good morning. I'm just here kind of as rebuttal. One thing I want to state, though, is I did receive the complaint, and in the complaint it does says email attached or emails attached. I never received any of the emails. I reached out to mail-in twice, so I don't have any of the complaint emails. So I just went through my notes and just made notes, so I can rebut.
Yeah, whatever you'd like to say to the board, you can.
Well, I mean, just kind of going off his notes, he kept saying that the job was supposed to be done May 15th, but I have a list here of all stuff that they were supposed to supply that didn't come in until the middle of June. I have vanity, June 8th. I have a vanity that didn't ship till 5/26. I have shower curbs that were just ordered May 19th. I have glass shelves that didn't show up till June 5th. I have cabinet finishers that didn't show up till June 6th as well. I mean, I was kind of inundated. You know, they kept saying I needed a project manager, and my understanding is I was the third builder to receive the job. It was kind of awarded to two other builders and then me. So I'm not sure why they didn't hire a builder that had a project manager, but I kind of reassured them. I'm usually my own project manager and kind of been my own project manager for 25 years. So it was such a micromanaging job. It was a lot more than I ever expected, and he definitely needed a project manager. I wasn't it. I have 219 emails between me, him, and the plumber, or not the plumber, the Ferguson plumbing supply. 219. I had nothing to do with the plumbing supplies at all. And when I write an estimate or a contract, if I say plumbing fixtures provided by owner, I expect them to own that. You know, I shouldn't have to necessarily be too involved with it. They had an architect on the job, so they could have easily confirmed between the architect and them, and then just provided me with a list of plumbing fixtures, and I would have went from there. But instead, I get 219 emails regarding various things from Ferguson. Also, you know, just to kind of stay on the same topic, just so you can see where I'm coming from, 52 emails about appliances. I had nothing to do with the appliances. Don't really care about the appliances. As long as he gives me a list of appliances and I can give them to the cabinet maker, then I'm good. 47 emails about the glass shelves that showed up late.
So your responsibility in this project was mostly actual construction, framing, whatever?
Yep.
But not to do with electrical, plumbing, or appliances?
No. We were going to do all of that work.
Right.
We did do all that work. We did all the electric, the plumbing, sheetrock, insulation, but for various things like plumbing fixtures, electrical fixtures, you know, they handled the cabinets, they handled the countertops, they bought all the tile, you know, so there was a lot involved and a lot kind of going back and forth to try to make this work. And I'm assuming some of that caused delays. I mean, I still have, let's see. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. But my point is I still had a lot of stuff being delivered after May 15th, what they're claiming to be the project deadline. I can tell you all the framing. We did all the framing, all the plumbing. I called for inspections. I called for electrical inspections. I had, unfortunately, you know, the way the town was back in 23, everything was a little backed up. Called for an electrical inspection. An electrical inspection can't happen for 5 weeks. You know, so all these little delays are there. Besides the delays from them, I had numerous problems with the cabinet manufacturer, and I had to be the one to kind of figure out all the workarounds and manage the cabinet people, you know, so I was doing a lot of extra work that nobody was paying me for. And he also says, you know, that invoices were paid on the same day. That's not what I have. I have him shorting me $35,000 on one. I have one bill.
Okay, that's really not the point. The question I have, they were supplying a lot of material?
Yeah.
And your job was to install it when it got there?
Correct.
And the material, you're claiming that the material got there late.
Right.
Now, my only question is, he claims abandonment of the job.
I did. I abandoned it July 28th because, so to try to manage the job, we were having horrible communication problems. So between me and his wife, we decided that it was best for Eric to stay out of our communication because, I mean, he's thorough. I mean, he's way more thorough than I am. And it was just, I was kept repeatedly getting bogged down. I have, on June 9th, 22 emails June 8th, 23 emails. June 7th, 17 emails. June 6th, 26 emails. June 5th, 18 emails. 30 emails on May 10th. I mean, I just overrun with emails. Again, if I knew that was going to happen, I probably would have either bowed out of the job or suggested that he does hire somebody with project management experience. I do my own. I usually try not to get overwhelmed with work. I think I had one other project going on at the same time, and I just could not get anything done. I'm a hands-on builder, tool belt. I swing the hammer. You know, I try to do a lot of.
But when you left the job,
Yeah.
was what had to be finished at that point?
Well, I couldn't tell you specifically because, again, it's 2 years ago, but under the pressure of renters for August, I mean, it was actually pressure from renters for May, because that's why we had a May 15th deadline, which we didn't get the permit until March 2nd, but, you know, had to figure out some way to get a May deadline done, which didn't happen. And then I got pressured for a July 1st deadline. Then I got pressured for the August deadline. And at that point, I just couldn't handle it. I mean, it was.
But what had to be finished as far as your?
You know, I know the shower
your end of
enclosures.
the contract.
Yep. So that for phase 1, I know the shower enclosures needed to be finished, which we had to work around.
Outside shower enclosure?
No, inside for the glass. Yep. So the glass, which was also delayed because they were handling all the stone, all the shower curbs and everything, and those came late. So took me longer to order the shower enclosures, which didn't get done in time, but we provided shower curtains, whatever we could kind of do to make the job and everything kind of move forward. Besides that, I mean, there was a bunch of little punch list items, but under the pressure, you know, we were kind of at the point where it was, let's just get whatever we can get done, you know, for August 1st for their renters. And now, you know, August 1st comes around and they're renting the house. It still has my liability insurance on it. So I requested through the town to remove my insurance off the permit. And I think the town also mentioned that they did not have a renter's permit. And my understanding is they filed this complaint so long because they had renters in for the summer of 2024.
Did they rent the house?
I no doubtedly know that they rented the house. So I mean, between the constant delays, between putting my business in jeopardy with having renters in the house with my liability, they tried bringing in an unlicensed painter, which I kind of had to deny. They fractured a lot of my relationships with my subs, and I don't know where to go with this. So,
Is there a written contract?
Yep.
Did you submit it to the board?
The written contract?
That's what I was just asking for.
You have a copy, yeah?
That's what he's gonna say about.
Okay, any other testimony?
Not at the moment.
Okay, you'll have a chance to come back. Thank you.
Thank you.
So whether or not those facts that Kevin mentioned are true, and most of them are not, and I'll go through them. The point is, he abandoned the project. He walked out in a tiff, very angry, left my wife in tears, and didn't explain, and never came back to us verbally or in writing and said, I want to cancel this contract. He just simply walked away. Said, basically said, I'm done with this. So that's a real issue. So whether or not if there were issues with material being delivered late or too many emails, I mean, those are all issues that can be dealt with in discussions. But I don't think that would justify just simply walking away from a legal agreement that we had. Now, in terms of materials did not arrive late in most cases. In fact, many of the materials arrived early, and I had to use the garage to store them. including all appliances, cabinetry, etc. All the cabinetry that he was saying he had to wait for to install was sitting in the garage for weeks before he installed it. With respect to the issue about project manager, yes, I had a discussion with him. I said, I think it'd be good to have a project. Do you have a project manager in this? He said, nope, that's what I do. That is my background. I will be a project manager on this, and I will. And he said that, but yet I never received a project plan for the entire project. Only a schedule of things to be done after we'd already passed the completion date. The reason so I provided documentation for everything to be installed in the house for him to review before we did that, because it makes sure, hey, does it fit? I don't think it was my job to make sure that everything we were ordering fit. We did the best we could to figure out, based upon the architectural plans, to buy things that would fit. But before we bought them, said, here's the documentation. Are these going to work out? And in many cases, it took a week or 2 weeks before Kevin got back to us to say, yes, they're okay. And frankly, I'm not sure that he actually even reviewed them. But he said, okay, we ordered them, and ultimately they were installed. But he was provided with documentation of everything: appliances, cabinetry, electrical fixtures, etc. before we ordered them. Regarding invoices, there were no invoices that were not paid, and I have a clear email trail explaining, showing that. Well, first of all, I have receipts. I have the invoices, and I have yes.
What are those invoices based on, sir? Was it the time he put in, he submit hours to you, and then you would just pay them? Is that how that goes?
It was based on the contract.
Or was it
He has a contract.
They have based on a contract?
Well, it wasn't based. He ignored the payment schedule in the contract, which we were okay with. He said he would charge us based upon what had been done. Certain milestones.
Right.
So the numbers, the invoices don't match what was in the contract.
Is that a fair way to do it?
I thought so. Yeah, I mean, it didn't bother. I'm not complaining about that. Even though it didn't match the payment schedule, it still ultimately was reflective of what was supposed to be in the contract.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on. You're not going after him for money.
No,
okay?
not here.
Not here. Maybe somewhere else, possibly.
I don't want to say.
Okay, I mean, so you just basically want to
complain.
You just want to hurt him.
I just want to complain. I mean, I think that's the reason you have a licensing review board.
He wants us to suspend his license.
I know. I mean, it's not just that. I just think that it should be, the town should revoke his license, because I think remove the opportunity for him to deal with any other client in such an unprofessional workman like manner.
Okay.
So that's the reason I'm bringing this to your attention.
Did you rent the house?
In fact, we had to cancel the renters.
Okay.
Because the house
Did you get a rental
wasn't finished.
permit?
Sorry?
Did you get a rental permit?
I do have a rental permit now. I didn't.
Yeah, but you didn't have.
I couldn't because the.
You have a CO?
Yes.
On the house?
Yes.
Was there any violations on electrical, plumbing, the building? Was there any violations?
Yeah. Well, before we got the CO, for the final building inspection, there were a number of violations that had to be corrected before we got the CO. That was done through the second contractor that I used.
Some things had to be corrected.
Some things had to be
Do you have
corrected.
a copy of those corrections?
Not with me, but those were. But I can provide that.
Before we can make a decision, can you supply us with?
Yeah, I mean, they were minor. The main thing was that there were some electrical.
Next time. Yeah, if they're making submissions.
Yeah.
Was it electrical work that he was responsible for?
Yes, it was electrical work he was responsible for. So there were a couple of things. They were minor.
I'm going to recommend to the board that you each have a 14-day period to make any written submissions, and they'll decide next time they come back here if that's what they'd like to do.
So would you?
Parties.
Whatever you want to submit within 14 days of today.
Submit any documentation to us.
Okay.
Because in the next meeting, we review it, and then we could make a decision.
So it sounds like there's some documentation that I should submit that I don't have with me. Is it okay if I bring that subsequently?
Whatever you would like to submit, that's
Whatever you
all
wanna
that will be
submit.
reviewed.
Whatever
Your
you think is
testimony
pertinent.
today with
Whatever you
any
wanna
submission,
submit.
You want me to submit what I have now or submit everything all at one time?
that's gonna be up to you.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
submit you what I have now, and then I'll come back with the rest.
Okay, gotta be filed within 14 days, okay?
No problem.
Okay, thank you. At this point, I'd like to make a motion to
Second?
Let's put this off till August 11th, pending
Yeah,
submission.
August 11th.
Second.
Make a decision.
Aye.
Okay.
Second,
Unanimous?
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Let's go. Submit it to you.
To the secretary.
And if you have any documentation, get it to the town before next meeting.
Yeah, I think it's got 14 days, right?
Yes.
14 days.
14 days.
Do I just bring it to the meeting, or do I have to do a?
It has to be submitted.
No, you have to submit it.
Then it'll give us an opportunity to review it prior to the meeting. 11th
Yeah, I'll bring
August
it.
August 11th.
at 10 a.m.
Bring it to the legal department.
Then you had somebody on Zoom here.
Okay, so we should
You
bring
have
it
somebody
to.
on Zoom, Kevin?
Oh, we have somebody on Zoom.
Okay, I'll bring it to.
They left.
Ed, somebody's on Zoom,
Oh, yeah?
I guess, I don't know.
They left.
Okay.
No?
He said no longer there.
Okay. Any other business? No other business? on-
Yeah, we jumped to this.
Skipped over some
and
stuff.
Skipped
No,
over.
I'm saying no business on the license review.
Right.
Licensing review is complete for today.
What we'd like to do, and to
Yep.
approve the minutes of the last meeting. Approve the minutes of the last meeting and some alarm billing I have to do.
I didn't.
So you have to approve the minutes of the last meeting, and you had the whole thing.
That's it, so.
Well, I'm
We
saying-
already did the last meeting.
We already did the
Okay.
last meeting.
And then the ones we had skipped over on.
Yep, we're doing those now.
He said no longer. They left.
Okay, so let me just go back and take a look. We did Sea Farm, George, Mickey B's, Martin Gano, Columbine. Okay, I would say Randall Blank is our next one.
Yeah,
Right.
that's correct.
But there is a few in person that we didn't do.
Okay. Yeah,
We
we go
went
back.
to Anthony Caputo.
Yeah, so Mark Kaufman's next.
Yeah, that was put over to August 11th.
Caputo was adjourned to August 11th. Caputo,
That Anthony Caputo was adjourned, yes, and then it's,
Mark
we didn't do
Kaufman.
Mark Kaufman and Jonathan
Jonathan
Dorfman.
And they're no-shows at this point, right?
All right, who's no shows?
So far, would be Anthony Caputo, or Mark Kaufman and Jonathan Dorfman are no-shows today.
Okay, did we have them last time?
Yes.
We did. And they, were they no-shows as last time?
I have to.
Wait, I have it. I have all this stuff right here.
They were adjourned, probably they were not present last time.
Okay, so this is the second time they've failed to show up.
They didn't show, yeah.
Okay. Absolutely.
You know, the last time was pretty messed up because of what we did.
Okay.
So I'll put them over.
One more time, okay.
Yeah, put them over one more time till the 11th.
That would be Kaufman and Dorfman. Okay, so they're put over to August 11. Okay.
Okay. All right. Michael Master Hollis here. Master Cough.
Yeah, so Master Koff is in person and not here, right?
It's the first time. He paid the invoice, but he still wanted to appeal it, and he said he's gonna come.
Okay.
No, he paid it already, right?
It's paid and he's appealing what he's paid?
He said, I still wanna appeal it.
Well, he's had a,
Well, we don't return money after it's already into the town.
I told him that.
You told him that. Okay, so let's make a motion that Mestrikoff get put back down to 0.
Okay.
I mean, that's all we can do for him.
Yeah, give him a 0 o'clock. He can't undo the fine at this point.
All right.
Blank.
No, we already had we already had Probst, right?
Yes. Yep. Discovered Treasures LLC.
Let's see what that looks like.
He's appealing the second fire alarm for $400.
I believe those were the ones trying to get in on Zoom that had left. That was the one on the computer.
Oh, he's trying to come on Zoom? He was trying to come on Zoom. That's what,
They already left, Kevin indicated. That's the one that was on Zoom that had left the waiting room.
It couldn't wait. All right. Well,
table the next one.
yeah, give him August 11th then.
First time, right?
Do we know who it was?
That's Discovered Treasures, you're saying?
Okay, well, everybody that wasn't able to get here today for whatever reason, we're gonna put them off till the 11th. After the 11th, anybody that's been put over for the 3rd time, we're going to go to a no action, all right?
Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion on Discovered Treasures?
That we put it over to August 11th?
Second.
We did a lot of this. I mean, I guess Randall Blank
Right.
would be the next one here.
Appealing his second false alarm. He had the first one on June 22nd of 24, and then a second one on October 3rd of 24.
We have a CAD report for this.
Yeah, I'm reading it now.
Okay.
So he's saying that the service is connected through Verizon, and Verizon was providing what apparently was some sort of poor service or temporarily out of service. So he's providing a Verizon invoice or a monthly bill showing that they had been credited for 7 days during that period for poor service.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
what do you think?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, let's go with, I'll entertain a motion for forgive the fine and counter to 0.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
second that.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And Nowak. She is appealing, she had an alarm on November 1st, 2024, and then a second one on November 2nd, 2024, both police alarms.
They're in the process of selling their house.
Yep. Yeah, they paid the first fine, but the second,
Both on the same day?
next day, 2 days, they were a day apart.
They paid
Yeah.
one?
Nope, first one was 0. The second one was, an officer was, I just want to read the CAD report real quick.
F, fines forgiven and counted to 0. I have a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
0?
Joe LaFace, same situation or similar situation on 9/16 of 24, police alarm, and then on November 27th of 24, another police alarm.
And we have no prior to that.
No, nothing
Okay.
before that I can see.
All right.
The home was found, police officer checked around the house and there were nothing was found. It appeared that all was secure and no one home.
Found, okay. Motion, please. Fine, counted to 0. Yep, second.
Aye.
All right. I got one in my belt. About time, Captain. Been waiting for you for a week.
Okay.
Ed keeps looking at it.
Next one is John Sanders. 9/16 of 22, he had an alarm. That was his first one, and that was 0. But then on 10/28 of 24, a little over 2 years later, he had a second alarm. And it says report of a burglary alarm at the incident location. Upon arrival, homeowners at the scene stated that he had set it off accidentally and was able to reset it. So it's unfounded.
I make a motion, 0?
Yeah.
Fine forgiven and counted to 0. All in favor?
They give a lot of money away in this court.
Okay. Just want to check Kostensky.
Harry.
And it looks like Pizzera Capital. So they have they had a false alarm for fire on 9/1 of 21, and then again later on 11/23 of 24. So there was over almost 3 years between the two. And he is appealing the second one. They had an alarm company in to make necessary repairs, but a cell signal failure. That's why it went off, because it lost cell signal connectivity. Riverhead Fire determined there was negative issue there, an alarm unfounded. And they have an invoice showing that the system was serviced. $1,400 of work done.
And nothing since.
Okay.
Nothing since then.
Yeah.
Nothing since.
Motion is fine forgiven, counted to 0.
Okay, second.
Aye.
All,
Yeah, all in favor?
aye.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, next one will be Harry Helstowski. Right. So he's appealing 2. He had a first false alarm on November 23rd, 24. Then he had another fire alarm on 12/21 of 24 and 12/25 of 24. So there's a balance of $900 in fees. Fines for alarm was on 12/21. The alarm was set off by cooking. On 12/25, homeowner called to cancel, again, set off by cooking.
Harry Hostomsky, okay. All right, let's go with fines forgiven and counted to 0. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
All right, and finally, Denise Lasak, if I said that correctly. Again, we have, these are fire alarms, and they're repealing, they had one in August 30th of 21, and then they had another in December 12th of, December 24th on 2023, and then another a little over a year later, in October, or a little under a year later. So they're appealing the third fire alarm.
500.
Yeah. Let me see what the police or CAD report says. Alarm was set off by cooking. Fire department checked and cleared nothing further.
First one was nothing. Number 3 is up to $500. So, all right. With these folks, let's go fines forgiven.
Yeah.
And counter to 0. Do I have a second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
And that's the last one I have on my list.
Do you see anything that we've neglected there, Anka? Everybody's done? Do I have a motion to
I make that
close the
motion
meeting?
to close the meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.